Hi, Dick Rochfort here. I wanted to go over with you some ideas about approaches. And there are a few things that I've seen pilots do that aren't exactly a good idea. And I wanted to try to differentiate between that which you should do routinely and that which could benefit from improvement. And getting on the approach is sometimes a challenge because it happens quickly. There are last minute changes. But let's take, for example, a full approach. Now, this one here is the RNAV runway 16 at Carroll County Regional Jack Pogue Field in Maryland. Ordinarily, if the instrument procedure is being conducted in actual conditions, you may expect to get or even request vectors to final. If you're getting vectors to final, the airplane will be vectored in 3 miles outside the final approach fix. And you'll hear something like maintain 1,900 till established, fly heading of this, that, or the other thing. You're cleared for the approach. Now, that gives you not only the right, but the responsibility to intercept the course in front of you. Now, in order to do that with a GPS and an autopilot, this leg of the fix of the approach from Unitas to Nispel has to be magenta, or has to be the active leg in the flight plan. In order to activate that leg, you have a choice. You can activate vectors to final, which you might have already done. That'll draw that magenta line all the way out. When you arm the approach by pressing the APR button on the autopilot will make the turn. When you get to Nispel, you begin your descent per the profile from this final approach fix and begin your descent. If you have LPV, of course, there'll be a glide path there. If you're flying an LNAV approach, you'll perhaps have an advisory glide slope depending on the equipment you're flying with. But you may not make this up. In other words, if you've made a slow turn and you've come through here like this, you may not activate by proceeding direct to Nispel. You must find your way back to the line. Now, this may be abundantly obvious to some, but it's a detail that must not be missed. And the reason is that if you're here when you get your clearance and you activate present position direct, you're not on the approach, at least not until you get to Nispel. You're expected to fly the heading you're assigned till the needle comes alive and then turn in. Now, the only way that can happen is if you make this line your course. You do that by covering Nispel in the flight plan and pressing Menu, Enter, Enter, Me. Menu, Enter, Enter. And that will activate this leg. Also, you can go back to Procedure button and activate vectors to final. That'll draw the whole line. The airplane will intercept correctly, and you won't run into any cumulus granite. This is Dick Rochfort. Fly safely. Train often.